Good day to all. In this session, let us solve a few problems related to preparation of statement of purchase price with advanced adjustments, and we will also learn about the meaning of stores control and types of stores. Problem number 1. A truck load of materials of mixed grades was purchased for rupees 90,000. These were sorted out into the following grades whose market rate is shown against each. Grade A 5,000 units, selling price per unit is rupees 12. Grade B 3,000 units, selling price per unit is rupees 10. Grade C 2,000 units, selling price per unit rupees 5. Find out the purchase rate per unit of each grade of the material, assuming that all grades yield the same rate of profit. Now please note here, purchase price of mixed grade of all the material is given rupees 90,000. The market rate against each grade of material is given. We have been asked to compute the purchase rate per unit of each grade of material, wherein we are asked to assume that all grades yield the same rate of profit. So in step 1, let us calculate the total selling price by preparing a table wherein we can also compute the total profit. Schedule of selling price. Since different grades of mixed materials are given, grade, unit, selling price per unit and total selling price. Now grade A, units given 5,000, selling price per unit is 12. So total selling price of grade A material is 5,000 into 12 comes up to 60,000. Grade B, 3,000 units into selling price per unit given rupees 10. Total selling price is 30,000. For grade C, 2,000 units into selling price per unit is rupees 5. Total selling price is 10,000. Now the total selling price of all grades put together, it comes up to 1 lakh. Please note here, the purchase price is given in the problem. The total purchase price is rupees 90,000. So from the selling price, when you deduct the total purchase price, we get the total profit. So that is rupees 10,000. 1 lakh minus 10,000. The total profit is 10,000. In step 2, let us calculate the profit on selling price. So since it is given in the problem, all grades yield the same rate of return. Therefore, first we compute the percentage profit on selling price by using the formula total profit divided by total selling price into 100. So let's proceed to the computation of percentage profit on selling price. Profit total 10,000 divided by total selling price 1 lakh into 100. So the percentage profit on selling price is 10%. We have been asked to calculate the purchase price per unit. Therefore, in step 3, let us prepare a statement and calculate the purchase price of materials. Statement of purchase price. Different grades are given, so we maintain a column for grade. Selling price per unit, please note it is given. Profit per unit, it is calculated already, 10% on selling price. Cost per unit, from selling price per unit you deduct profit per unit, we get cost per unit. Units of different grades of material is given in the problem. So total purchase price, if you want to calculate cost per unit into units. For grade A, selling price given 12, profit 12 into 10% comes up to 1.20. So therefore cost per unit is 12 minus 1.20, nothing but 10.8. For grade A, 5,000 units. So 5,000 into 10.8 comes up to 54,000. For grade B, selling price per unit 10. Selling price per unit 10 into 10% comes up to 1. Cost per unit 10 minus 1 comes up to 9. Units produced given 3,000. So 3,000 into 9 comes up to 27,000. So for grade C, selling price per unit is 5. 5 into 10% is profit per unit comes up to 0.50. Cost per unit is 5 minus 0.5, 4.5. Units produced is given 2,000. So 2,000 into 4.5 is 9,000. Therefore, total purchase price of all grades of materials put together comes up to 90,000. Let me proceed to the second problem. Swaroop stores received a consignment consists of articles A and B. The invoice gave the following data. A, 500 kg at rupees 3 per kg, rupees 1,500. B, 300 kgs at rupees 4 per kg, rupees 1,200. Sales tax is given rupees 135. Railway freight rupees 64. Cost of containers, 8 containers, rupees 80. Note, 5% cash discount for payment made within 1 week. Return value of containers, rupees 5 each. A shortage of 20 kg in A and 10 kg in B was noticed. A provision of 5% is needed for further deterioration. Calculate the cost per kg of A and B. Please note here we are supposed to compute the cost per kg for both article A as well as article B. And we observe that invoice price for A and B is given separately, whereas sales tax is given jointly, which is not at a portion between article A and B. Railway freight is also given as a combined cost, which needs to be apportioned on an appropriate basis while calculating the cost per kg. And the percentage of cash discount is given. It is purely a financial item, therefore it's not considered while preparing or while calculating the cost of material. Written value of container is given rupees 5. There is a shortage, and also we need to make provision for deterioration as per the problem given. Let's proceed with the solution. Statement showing material cost. So here there are two articles, article A and B. Let's calculate the material cost for A and B separately. Element of cost, base of apportion. Since certain costs are given jointly, they need to be apportioned on an appropriate basis. Total cost. First item, invoice price. We record the actual. For A, material A, it is given 500 into rupees 3. That's 500 kgs purchase per kg rupees 3. So total comes up to 1,500. Material or article B, it's 300 kgs at rupees 4 comes up to 1,200. So A and B put together, total comes up to 2,700. From invoice price. Sales tax given 135, which is a portion on the basis of invoice price. Invoice prices for A and B 1,500 is to 1,200. When we simplify, it is 5 is to 4. So 135 into 5 by 9 to article A, 135 into 4 by 9 to article B, which comes up to 75 and 60 respectively. Railway freight must be apportioned on the basis of weight. Article A is 500 kgs, whereas article B is 300 kgs. So total cost of 64 towards railway freight is apportioned on the basis of weight, that is 5 is to 3. 64 into 5 by 8 for grade A. 64 into 3 by 8 for article B comes up to 40 and 24 respectively. Cost of containers, clearly given cost of containers is 8 containers. So rupees 80, that means each container costs rupees 10. And there is a credit given if you return the containers at rupees 5 per container. We assume that the containers are returned. So we get a credit of 40 on return. So actual cost of container that we need to charge towards the material cost is only rupees 40, which must be again a portion on the basis of weight, that is 5:3. 40 into 5 by 8 is 25. 40 into 3 by 8 is 15. So therefore total material cost for material A is 1640, for material B 1299, put together 2939. We have been asked to calculate the purchase price per kg. Therefore, we still proceed with the calculation. Total quantity purchase given in the problem, article A 500, article B it's 300. So there is a shortage due to breakage which is given in the problem. For article A it is 20 kg, article B it is 10 kg. 500 minus 20, 480, 300 minus 10 is 290, put together 770 kgs. Less, there is further provision for deterioration which is given at 5%. So 770 is the total, whereas for article A it is 480 into 5% comes up to 24. For article B 290 into 5% comes up to 14.5. So therefore we calculate now actual quantity available for issue. For article A, from 500 we deduct 20, that is lost due to shortage, less further deterioration 24 kg. So actual quantity available for article A is 456, whereas article B from 300 less shortage 10, deterioration 14.5. So quantity available for issue is 275.5 kg. Therefore, ultimately we calculate the cost per kg by using the formula total material cost divided by quantity available for issue. For article A, total material cost is 1640 divided by quantity available for issue is 456 kg. Therefore, cost per kg is rupees 3.60, whereas article B 1299 divided by 275.5 kg, cost per kg is 4.72. Now let us proceed with the meaning of storage of material. Storage of material is concerned with the physical storage of materials. It refers to the art of preserving the goods until required in production. Storage of materials ಇದು ವಸ್ತುಗಳ ಭೌತಿಕ ಶೇಖರಣೆಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಿಸಿದೆ. ಉತ್ಪಾದನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅಗತ್ಯವಿರುವ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಸರಕುಗಳನ್ನು ಸಂರಕ್ಷಿಸುವ ಕಲೆಯನ್ನು ಇದು ಸೂಚಿಸುತ್ತದೆ. Store keeping aims at safeguarding the materials from all kinds of loss and damage and ensuring smooth and continuous flow of materials into the production activities. ಎಲ್ಲಾ ರೀತಿಯ ನಷ್ಟ ಮತ್ತು ಹಾನಿಗಳಿಂದ ವಸ್ತುಗಳನ್ನು ಕಾಪಾಡುವುದು ಮತ್ತು ಉತ್ಪಾದನಾ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ವಸ್ತುಗಳ ಸುಗಮ ಮತ್ತು ನಿರಂತರ ಹರಿವನ್ನು ಖಾತರಿಪಡಿಸುವ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಕೀಪಿಂಗ್ ಹೊಂದಿದೆ. Now, what are the functions of a store department? Preparing purchase requisitions for general items of stores, receiving of goods into stores, providing security to goods, avoiding damage and deterioration, classification and codification of materials, issue of materials to production and service departments, maintaining stock records, maintaining proper stock levels, providing stock information and verifying stock. ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ನ ಕಾರ್ಯಗಳು ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ವಸ್ತುಗಳಿಗೆ ಖರೀದಿ ವಿನಂತಿಗಳನ್ನು ಸಿದ್ಧಪಡಿಸುವುದು, ಸರಕುಗಳನ್ನು ಸ್ವೀಕರಿಸುವುದು, ಸರಕುಗಳಿಗೆ ಭದ್ರತೆ ಒದಗಿಸುವುದು, ಹಾನಿ ಮತ್ತು ಕ್ಷೀಣತೆಯನ್ನು ತಪ್ಪಿಸುವುದು, ವಸ್ತುಗಳ ವರ್ಗೀಕರಣ ಮತ್ತು ಕ್ರೋಢೀಕರಣ, ಉತ್ಪಾದನೆ ಮತ್ತು ಸೇವಾ ಇಲಾಖೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಸಾಮಗ್ರಿಗಳ ವಿತರಣೆ, ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ದಾಖಲೆಗಳನ್ನು ನಿರ್ವಹಿಸುವುದು, ಸರಿಯಾದ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಮಟ್ಟವನ್ನು ನಿರ್ವಹಿಸುವುದು, ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಮಾಹಿತಿಯನ್ನು ಒದಗಿಸುವುದು, ಮತ್ತು ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಅನ್ನು ಪರಿಶೀಲಿಸುವುದು. Now let us have a brief discussion about the different types of stores. There are three types of stores. The first one being centralized stores or kendrikrita maligegalu. Under this, the materials are stored in one centrally located storeroom. User departments have to draw their requirements from this store. ಕೇಂದ್ರೀಕೃತ ಮಳಿಗೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ವಸ್ತುಗಳನ್ನು ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸ್ಥಾನದಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಒಂದು ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಗ್ರಹಿಸಲಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಬಳಕೆದಾರರು ಈ ಜಾಗದಿಂದ ತಮ್ಮ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆಗಳನ್ನು ಪೂರೈಸಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. What are the benefits of centralized store system? Better control, better layout, less storage space as stores are kept to the minimum, less investment, economy in clerical and stationery costs, economy in staff, availability of experts, less botheration in inventory checks. The major limitations of centralized store are increased cost of movement of stock, extended risk of loss, greater cost of material handling, delay and inefficiency in movement in stock. The second one being decentralized store. Each production department possesses a storeroom of its own where its requirements are stored. Handling of stores is undertaken by the storekeeper in each department. The departments requiring stores can draw them from their respective stores situated in their departments. It is an alternative system to overcome the major limitations of centralized stores. ವಿಕೇಂದ್ರೀಕೃತ ಮಳಿಗೆಗಳು. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಉತ್ಪಾದನಾ ವಿಭಾಗವು ತನ್ನದೇ ಆದ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ರೂಮ್ ಅನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿದ್ದು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವುಗಳ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆಗಳನ್ನು ಸಂಗ್ರಹಿಸಲಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಮಳಿಗೆಗಳ ನಿರ್ವಹಣೆಯನ್ನು ಪ್ರತಿ ವಿಭಾಗದ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಕೀಪರ್ ನೋಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಮಳಿಗೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಅಗತ್ಯವಿರುವ ಇಲಾಖೆಗಳು ತಮ್ಮ ಇಲಾಖೆಯಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಆಯಾ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ಗಳಿಂದ ಅವುಗಳನ್ನು ಪಡೆಯಬಹುದು. ಕೇಂದ್ರೀಕೃತ ಮಳಿಗೆಗಳ ಪ್ರಮುಖ ಮಿತಿಗಳನ್ನು ನಿವಾರಿಸಲು ಇದೊಂದು ಪರ್ಯಾಯ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯಾಗಿದೆ. The last one, a centralized store with sub-store system. It's also known as Impress system of store control. In large factories, departments are situated at a distance from the central store. In order to keep the transportation costs and handling charges to minimum, sub-stores should be situated near production. ಸಾರಿಗೆ ವೆಚ್ಚವನ್ನು ಉಳಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳಲು ಮತ್ತು ಕನಿಷ್ಠ ಉಪಮಳಿಗೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಶುಲ್ಕವನ್ನು ನಿರ್ವಹಿಸುವುದು ಉತ್ಪಾದನೆಯ ಸಮೀಪದಲ್ಲಿರಬೇಕು. For each item of materials, a quantity is determined and this should be kept in stock at the beginning of any period. At the end of a period, the storekeeper of each sub-store will requisition from the central stores the quantity of the material consumed to bring the stock up to the predetermined quantity. With this, I end my session.